Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Money Cafe America, where we turn paycheck stress into clear steps.
Hello, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Maya. Today, we're talking about that exhausted feeling when payday finally arrives.
But the money is already gone. That's exactly what it feels like.
You check your account on Friday morning. The direct deposit is there.
But rent is due, the car payment is pulling tomorrow, and groceries cost more.
By Friday night, the fresh paycheck feels like a ghost. You're just waiting for the next one.
That's the hardest part for me. I make more money now than I did 3 years ago.
But the breathing room didn't arrive with the raise. That happens to so many hard-working people.
It makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. I try to be careful.
You aren't doing anything wrong. The margin for error is just incredibly thin right now.
It really is. One surprise bill can ruin the whole month.
That's why we're keeping things simple today. We're sharing general financial education, not personal advice.
Which is good. Personal advice usually makes me feel like I need a perfect spreadsheet.
You don't need a perfect spreadsheet. You just need a slightly clearer view of your money.
I'd love to feel a little less panicked before the middle of the month.
We can help you build that relief. We'll look at a simple model for your money.
I definitely need a simple model. Everything else just feels too heavy right now.
We'll break down a few realistic steps you can take before your next payday.
That sounds much better than holding my breath. I'm tired of hoping the math works.
We'll also cover a few useful terms today. We'll translate them into plain English.
I appreciate that. Financial jargon usually makes me want to close the app.
We want to hear from you before we begin. What's the hardest expense to predict between paychecks?
For me, it's always unexpected car stuff. I'm ready to change this cycle.
The main problem is that we usually look at the month as one giant block of time.
That makes sense. All the heavy bills seem to hit at the exact same moment.
When you view the whole month at once, the math feels totally impossible to solve.
How do we stop looking at it that way? I need a different view.
Think of your income like water flowing into a bucket. This bucket has holes along the side.
Okay, I am picturing that. The holes are the everyday bills taking the money out.
Right. But those holes do not all drain the bucket at the exact same time.
I assume they drain when the bill due date actually arrives in the mail.
Exactly. Some holes are near the bottom and drain immediately. Others are near the top.
Oh, I see it. The rent hole is right at the bottom of the bucket.
Yes, the water vanishes on the first day, but the grocery hole drains slowly over 4 weeks.
If I know when the water drains, I will not feel so empty by Friday.
That leads to our simple rule. Do not budget for the entire month at once.
What timeline do I budget for instead?
Budget only for the exact space between your paychecks.
Budgeting between the checks. That feels much smaller than planning 30 whole days out.
If this idea is already lowering your shoulders, save this episode for your next payday.
I definitely need to keep this nearby before my next direct deposit clears.
The most common mistake people make is trying to pay everything with the first check.
I absolutely do that. I just want the monthly bill stress to be over quickly.
But paying everything on day one leaves you with zero cash for the next 13 days.
Then, I end up putting gas on a credit card just to survive the week.
The better way is to split the heavy bills. Match them to when the money arrives.
You mean holding back half the rent from the very first check of the month?
Exactly. You hold that first half in your checking account until the second half arrives.
That requires trusting myself. I cannot spend that rent money on a random Tuesday night.
A lot of people feel that exact fear. You see a high balance and feel safe.
Then an expensive takeout dinner feels completely justified. That is my exact life right there.
But knowing that specific money is waiting for a job makes it easier to leave alone.
It changes the focus. I am not surviving the month, just managing the next 14 days.
Managing 14 days is a lot less overwhelming than staring at an entire month of expenses.
I can handle 14 days. That actually feels like a realistic timeline I can follow.
Let us bring that rule into the real world. You only need to map the days before your next check.
That sounds easy in theory. But real life feels much messier than a plan.
It is messy. That is why we will look at 3 normal situations today.
Good. I need to see how this works when bills start hitting.
Here is the first scenario. It is the first of the month.
Rent, car payment, and insurance are all due within 5 days.
Exactly. What is your first instinct when you see those heavy bills?
I panic and pay them immediately. I want them out of my sight.
That is completely common. But that drains your bucket completely on day 1.
Then I have to survive the next 10 days with almost zero cash in the account.
The simplest fix is breaking up that pile of dates. You do not have to accept the schedule they give you.
Wait, I can just change when my bills are due?
Many companies will let you move your due date. You just have to ask.
I never even thought about asking for that. I just assumed the printed date was completely permanent.
You can ask to move the car payment to the 15th. That spreads things out.
That immediately gives my first paycheck some breathing room.
It really helps. But there is a limitation to remember.
Not every company will agree to move the date, right?
Right. Rent cannot move. But your internet bill might be flexible.
Moving even one bill to my second check changes my whole week.
That leads to the second scenario. Let us look at the middle of the month.
That is when my account is usually getting dangerously low.
Your second check is still a full week away, but you urgently need groceries and gas to get to work.
My instinct here is to pull out a credit card.
People do that just to cross the finish line to payday.
I tell myself I will pay the card off when the check arrives.
But the next check gets swallowed by other bills, right?
Exactly. The balance just stays there and starts growing.
The correction is securing your living expenses before anything else.
How do I do that if the money feels completely gone?
When your paycheck arrives, you must separate the grocery and gas money first before paying anything else.
You mean before I make an extra credit card payment?
Yes, you must fund your life for those 14 days first.
That feels weird. I thought I should aggressively pay down debt.
Focus on debt later. Surviving 14 days without new debt comes first.
That makes sense. I just buy the groceries with cash first.
The practical step is deciding exactly how much you need for food.
Then I isolate that money so I cannot spend it on anything else.
Exactly. But you have to remember the limitation of this step.
Grocery prices change. The amount I need might fluctuate.
It will fluctuate. You might have to buy cheaper items to stay within the limit.
That is realistic. At least I am not adding to my credit card stress.
Let us look at the third scenario. You are doing well with your plan.
Everything is balanced. I have enough for food and rent.
Then a surprise happens. You get a flat tire or a medical copay.
That is the exact moment I usually give up on the budget.
It is frustrating. You feel like you did everything right and failed.
It makes planning feel completely useless.
Your instinct is to throw the plan away. We need to reframe that.
How do I reframe feeling defeated by a flat tire?
A small surprise does not mean your financial plan failed. It just means normal life happened.
But it still costs money I do not have in the account.
That is why you build a tiny buffer inside your 2-week cycle.
What does a tiny buffer look like in real life?
When you map out your check, you leave $50 unassigned.
Just $50 sitting there doing absolutely nothing?
Yes. It waits to absorb a small surprise during those 2 weeks.
I could probably manage to leave $50 untouched.
If the flat tire happens, you use the buffer. Your rent stays safe.
That would keep me from giving up on the whole week.
There is a limitation here. $50 will not cover a major emergency.
Like a massive car repair or a hospital visit.
Right. It is just a micro cushion. It stops small annoyances from ruining the week.
It stops a bad Tuesday from becoming a totally broke Friday.
Exactly. Now we want you to try one concrete action within 24 hours.
I need a small action step. What should I do before tomorrow?
Open your calendar. Write down only the bills due before your next paycheck.
Just the bills for this exact pay period. I will ignore the rest.
Do not look at the whole month. Just map the gap between today and payday.
I can do that. That actually feels like a puzzle I can solve right now.
We just looked at moving your bill dates, securing your grocery cash first, and keeping a $50 buffer.
It really feels like playing defense instead of just letting the whole month happen to me.
Let us test that defense right now with a common timing problem.
Okay, give me a realistic scenario that usually trips people up.
You have a paycheck clearing on Friday morning, but your power bill is due on Thursday.
I hate when that timing happens.
How would you handle that gap without using a high-interest credit card?
I would probably just let the power bill overdraw my checking account on Thursday
Why would you choose to go negative?
because I want to avoid the late fee from the power company. Then Friday's check covers the balance.
I appreciate that you are trying to avoid late fees. Those penalties definitely sting.
But you are going to tell me the bank overdraft fee is much worse.
Exactly. The bank might charge you $35 just for letting the account drop below zero.
That is true. It solves one problem, but immediately creates a more expensive one.
The clearer fix is calling the power company on Tuesday. You ask for a simple 3-day extension.
Just pushing the due date past Friday. That avoids the overdraft fee entirely.
That is the exact right move. Now let us translate 3 money terms you will hear often.
Please keep them simple. My brain is already full from the budget planning.
The first term is cash flow. This just means the timing of money entering and leaving your account.
So, it is about when the money moves, not just how much money I actually have.
Exactly. An everyday example is getting paid on the 15th, but your rent leaves on the 1st.
That means my timing is completely mismatched, even if I earn enough overall.
Yes. It matters because bad timing feels like being broke. How would you explain that idea?
Cash flow means making sure the bucket has water in it before the drain opens.
That is exactly it. The second term is fixed expense.
That sounds like a bill that never changes its mind.
Close. A fixed expense is a bill that costs the exact same amount on a regular schedule.
An everyday example would be my auto loan. It is always $300 on the 12th.
Spot on. This matters because these are the heavy anchors in your 14-day plan.
You cannot negotiate the amount when the week gets tight.
Right. You have to work around them. How would you describe a fixed expense in your own words?
It is a rigid bill that I must build the rest of my short-term plan around.
Perfect. The third term is discretionary spending.
That sounds like the fun money I am definitely not supposed to have.
Not at all. Discretionary spending is the cash you control after necessary bills are cleared.
An everyday example would be buying takeout on a Wednesday because I am too tired to cook.
Exactly. It matters because when you are living saying paycheck to paycheck, this is your only flexible category.
So if I need extra cash to reach Friday, this is the valve I have to tighten.
Yes. You cannot instantly lower your rent, but you can always pause the takeout. How would you translate that?
Discretionary spending is the money I actually have control over when the week feels tight.
You have a really solid grip on all three concepts now.
Understanding the words makes the whole process feel much less intimidating. It gives me some control back.
Let us test this new framework with one more realistic scenario before you map out your week.
I am ready. Give me a situation that usually completely ruins my budget.
You get paid Friday, but 3 streaming subscriptions and a gym membership renew on Saturday.
That is a classic trap. I usually completely ignore those because they are small automatic charges.
That is the danger. Why do you usually choose to ignore those small automatic renewals?
$20 here and $10 there never feels like a real financial threat.
But 3 small charges combined can easily overdraw an account if the balance is low.
That is true. I have definitely been hit with an overdraft fee over a small subscription.
Exactly. The mistake is treating automatic charges differently than your heavy fixed expenses.
So I should not just leave them on autopilot and hope Friday covers everything?
Right. You have to treat them like real bills. Try the scenario again with the new rule.
Okay. On Thursday night, I would add up every subscription hitting over the weekend.
That is the right start. What do you do with that total number next?
I would make sure that exact total stays in my checking account on Friday morning.
That is perfect. You secure the automatic money before any weekend discretionary spending happens.
That prevents me from checking my app Monday and wondering where $80 went.
Exactly. How would you use this 14-day approach in your real life this week?
I would sit down tonight. I would look at my next payday and write down upcoming bills.
We can build a simple action plan for you right out of that exact idea.
A simple plan sounds good. I need steps that do not require building a complicated spreadsheet.
The first step is just opening your calendar today. Do not look at your bank account yet.
Looking at the dates reduces the pressure. It does not cost anything to check a calendar.
Exactly. The second step is writing down only the bills that fall before your next direct deposit.
You ignore the rent if it is due next month. You only focus on the immediate gap.
Yes. Do not borrow stress from next month. The third step is calling about flexible due dates.
I would check if any of those immediate bills can be moved to the next pay cycle.
Right. Pushing just one bill forward gives your current checks some immediate breathing room.
If I move my phone bill, I instantly have more cash for groceries this week.
That is the whole plan. We want to know what part of the month usually feels tightest.
You can just leave one word for us. Write beginning, middle, or end to share your timeline.
Recognizing when the financial pressure hits is the best way to start shifting the pattern.
I really feel like I can map out the next 2 weeks without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Remember, you can leave your timeline word with us today. Just tell us when the financial pressure feels the heaviest.
Also remember to map only your current paycheck cycle tonight. You really do not need to solve the entire month.
Taking control back starts by shrinking the timeline down. You can handle one small 2-week gap at a time.
That smaller focus definitely lowers the temperature in the room. It makes checking the bank balance feel much less terrifying.
It is completely okay if the plan needs minor adjustments. You are just learning how your money actually flows.
I will definitely start using the small buffer idea immediately. That tiny cushion will save me a lot of daily stress.
Thank you for sitting with us here at Money Cafe America today. I'm Maya.
And I'm Ethan. You do not have to fix everything on Friday. Having a calmer plan is already a massive victory.